a comparison with chess, but I never really got to give an answer to it. So I left you guys kind of hanging on that, so my apologies. So the idea was there's so many variables, and if you consistently drill just technique, that you're going to be left with just countless amount of variables. And so the repetition count is going to go into the centillions. Now, don't get me wrong, I drill. I train my athletes to drill. I encourage it to drill mechanics. So understanding the mechanics is absolutely crucial. Familiarizing yourself with the position and those key details. Now, with that being said, what I wanted to make sure is that there's small things that are kind of left out, and those details, they're your money maker, you know? You could have someone doing almost exactly the same thing, a white belt imitating a black belt, and doing everything to the eye identical. One small shift in the hips, you can't even recognize it, and there's your difference between a submission, right, and a miss. So what I'm going to start with is just a small thing, or a couple of small things that hopefully you can just use it in the next open mat, and keep it. That's the retention is key. I'm keeping track of time well this time. Where did it going in hand go? The comedian. Right there. I stepped on his toes yesterday, so I apologize. I went over on time. So, to me, if I can get everyone kind of shift on this side, so I'm be playing everything on this end. I'm just doing a break the Kimura on this side now. So, the way that I was taught, and pretty much globally, it's been the same thing. Regular Kimura, you interlock the arms, right, and you paint the floor, right? You drag it across, raising the elbow. So I was taught that exact same thing, or excuse me, Americana. So many freaking names. Yeah, I just say shoulder lock. So as I'm here, you gotta pin this down. Of course, details. You know, the elbow in the neck, right? And I'm going from here, and I'm painting the ground, right? Well, the guys that are really flexible, the guys that are really strong, they go out from there, or you have the guys that so barrel chested they just push up on you, they go flying out. So I'm going to introduce you to something I started using a long time ago. It's really helped me along the ways. It's helped me this afternoon. Almost Mr. Kimura, a big old roommate of mine. Where you at? He like literally almost like just one-armed me out. Strong bastard. What saved me was just the concept of roll one, roll two. Okay. If you watch my wrist, all I'm doing is rolling one, rolling two. I don't say left, right, because it doesn't matter the order. As long as you just remember, roll both. Roll one, roll two. And this is going to apply more things than you can possibly imagine. So, as I'm here, bring everything in. Same concept, got to bring everything nice and tight to me. But instead of raising everything up, instead of bringing the elbow off the ground and painting on the floor, guys, all I'm going to do is roll one, roll two. That's it. Here you have like an MMA setting, you want to duck your head down, nothing wrong with that. Roll one, roll two. That's it. So literally right here, if you actually go for this and like you overshoot the arm, you totally can do that. It's nothing wrong. Just remember, roll one, roll two. That's it. I have a triple amputee I work with. Even the arm that he does have is has a titanium rod, so he can't, rotate his arm very well. So what he does actually, he does a modified Kimura or Americana, where it's almost similar to this, and this is totally acceptable as well. No grip, and you can test this out. And go ahead and punch out. And it's not my size at all. It's literally the angle that I'm catching. You heard a lot of these guys, phenomenal instructors. I've been to this camp. I'm really impressed. It's quality stuff. They talk about angles and positions very frequently, and that's the same mindset I have. I'm sorry, dude. Who do you want to pick? I have you pick them. Give me somebody. There you go. That way I'm not the guy always picking them, right? You have bad shoulders? Okay. So yeah, same thing. Yeah, let's do that way then too. So same thing, roll 1, roll 2, make it tight. So the only difference on this one be I have to make my elbow in, and then as you roll it in, do the same thing. What I'm looking for is actually the rolling of the wrist. So as I'm here, same concept. Even if I don't have a grip whatsoever, just no hands. So one trick that I have, like a lot of the big guys that I work with, way bigger than me, I have them hold tennis balls. And that way they can't grab, right? It really makes them think, okay, I have so many other ways of grabbing, and it helps out their jiu-jitsu drastically. So same concept here. If I go here, it's just roll 1, roll 2. And sometimes you have those guys, he's got really good shoulders, it's awesome. But what I'm not gonna do is raise up. What I'm doing is I'm gonna try to bring his elbow right inside. So the lock is gonna be the roll 1, roll 2, and then what I'm doing is I'm bringing it close to me. But what I don't wanna do is raise up at all. I'm just dragging it down. So roll 1, roll 2, that's my lock, and I just bring it across. Okay? Yeah. I heard a pop, that's why I stopped. So the main thing is, guys, roll 1, roll 2. This is the easiest position to learn it in. And I'm going to add up to a bunch of different more. You can use the same thing. Yes?
If you're super flexible, like when you do the
That's awesome.
Really, yeah, but it's really hard for some to do like Mokara or Kimura. But is there something they can do to, I don't know, make it easier? Because really advanced, I don't tap out. Or I have to tap out.
Talk about like in this position here?
Yeah.
So the elbow. So a while back I took AMP, Anatomy and Physiology, to kind of understand jiu-jitsu better.
Yeah.
And as mobile as people are, there's certain things that you have to have a rigid hold, or not your shoulder just come out. So what we're doing on this one, exactly that. He's actually got really good shoulders for someone who does jiu-jitsu. Most injuries come from like here. But what I'm doing is I'm keeping this pinned in, and then as this stays in, I'm bringing the elbow in this direction. Normally everyone's taught this, but already you can see the mobility issue, how flexible he is. And it's not even flexibility at this point, it's just good mobility, it's good shoulders. But what I'm doing is I'm bringing it down here, and as I'm bringing it up, that changes the entire game. So we'll start with that, and again, mainly I always like to go the highest percentile, right? Because what if the guy does a backflip and he lands in the splits into my Kimura? I don't know, run into that and figure out that problem when it comes up. But there's always exceptions to the rules where you have to not just stop there. You're literally going to bring the shoulder all the way across. But rarely are those you're going to be encountering.
Yeah, no, but it's usually a problem because people think they're doing it wrong.
True. Let's give this one a whirl. Okay, come back. Hands up.
Can I
Sorry, suckers. Hold on. What?
Can I ask you one last question?
Shoot. Or one question. Yeah.
It's how do you distribute your weight?
Oh, evenly.
Evenly?
Yeah, you want to feel it? Yeah. I always ask, to get it, see how it feels, just to actually know what it's supposed to feel like. So everything's still going to be the same setup, when you guys are practicing this. So I'm still going to be staying flat, my elbow's going to be tucked in. But what I'm doing is, it's actually just all this. Instead of reaching for it, all I'm doing is rolling my wrist. So do you feel any shift change of weight? No. So a lot of people think, because of my size, that I'm like anchoring in, but I'm not. I'm just keeping everything tight to the ground. I actually prefer this because people think they can stretch out and tighten up their shoulder. So when they extend out, let's say your leg out or your arm out to try to hit. See what I mean? Now it makes it easier because they actually tighten the ligaments and the muscles to try to escape, and that makes it tighter. All right, guys, hands up, go. Phenomenal, by the way. I actually picked up a lot. But even that you can apply, and again, what I teach is A-way, not B-way. I never like to step on anyone's toes. I always try to keep an open mind. Been doing this for 20 years, and it's kept me into it. It kind of kept me motivated, being able to learn. I still get a kick out of it, and it fuels my passion for it. As I love actually bringing people in and going places and learning just something different. You can learn from anybody. For tolls, same thing. I can roll one. So one of the things that, especially from like half guard, one of the ways that I like to do told is using that same mechanism. But so as tight as this is like ridiculous tight. If you can just remember to roll one, roll two, you actually have it as well. So that's like a lot of people, they struggle with the strength portion of it, and especially everyone. A lot of people ask the same question about they kick out and he has like man for everything like a freaking Rolodex. And I was actually going, well, damn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got all discombobulated. But one of the things was that I figured out is, you know, the size difference between him and I should just be able to just rip it out, right? But even for myself, if he actually kicks out and extends his leg, puts like a boot on, I'm fighting a strong part of his body, and he's actually got hip engagement with his leg. So instead of actually fighting it, I actually do a real toe hold. So instead of me grabbing through here, I actually make adjustment. I'll grab actually the toes and roll them in. So if he tries to kick, there's no kick. And now you can actually just follow through with the same thing, roll one, roll two. So that's kind of like my little addition to it. I'm not really going to go into much, and kind of like it was very overwhelming, the amount of techniques that everyone's trying to absorb. So I'm just trying to show in small little details of things that I've found very helpful for me and my guys. Instead of actually going to the outside from here, what I'm doing is I'm making a quick shift and literally rolling in my fingers, and I roll one, roll two, and then you can do the same thing. Right. That makes sense, though? You want to see it? Yeah, absolutely. I like to show it from here because it actually reads on. You have like a very good understanding of what spreads out. You can test it out for yourself. So as I'm actually going in from here, I'm trying to keep the way I actually like to do it is I just anchor my elbow and get that turn, and then I get that initial push. But what I was having problems with is catching it here. And it would extend out. No. So before that even happens, I keep that elbow dug in, I push through, I just rotate and roll. He's not getting his foot back. So I just roll one, roll two.
Sorry. Can you just
sure.
do it after?
Yeah. He said it, by the way. Open mat. That's it. So what I'm doing is just going in from here. That's my only change. Just a small detail with the roll one, roll two. So one other thing. Hopefully it's not too much into the same thing. A lot of people, toes to butt. You hear that a lot, right? Toes to butt. I don't do toes to butt. I actually do the little Lucky Charms over the rainbow. So what I'm doing from here, instead of, look, this is already, no bueno. It's not good either. So what I'm doing is I'm going over the rainbow, and I have a lot more luck that way. I like that. So, one more time. Where's Aaron? Is Aaron here? No. You can't watch this. The last thing I want is you to actually learn this one. Just my toe hold variation. Going over the rainbow. Yeah. So I roll from here. Instead of going down, I bring it over. I bring it down through there. Huh? It's both actually. The where you can't twist out is because of that. So I'm just going right over through here. You're right.
Yeah.
Guys, please be careful with that. Don't and test it out. Just kind of go slow and guide it through. Some people have better mobility in their hips and their knees than others. What you don't want to do is test it out and hear a pop and go, oops. There's a few more days left in the camp. Okay. Please be careful with that. Roll 1, roll 2. Shift to the toes. All right, test out. Okay, see if they can push out through it. At least less, right? More control on that. And then instead of, in the butt, over the rainbow. That way. Okay. Hands up, go. IBJJF, not allowed till brown belt. There's so many organizations out there. Please read up on your division. I'm not telling you to jump in there and just stop cold people. I'm just showing you a way of doing things that eventually, once you get the brown belt, you'll be able to use. Or if you go to something that allows it, you can use it. It's boy, come here. He was trying to deliver pizza at our room. He got the wrong room, but. All right. I need everyone kind of shift on this side then, because everything's gonna have to do with the key and the lapel. Come back on this side. Sorry. My bad. So pretty much everyone I was rolling with yesterday, they're like terrorizing me because they were trying to go for chokes and everything else. And I have this majestic beard that countered everything, right? Well, if you grab the gi, it's like this, right? And you're trying to force that in, okay? You're gonna run into the problems, right? This is like the number one counter you learn from day one, correct? So I'm gonna show you a nice way, and I'm gonna show you a universal way. So once I grab in, I try to grab it tight, right? And I get my other lapel. So there's 2 numbers involved, guess. Roll 1, roll 2. Do you notice that the wrist comes up, elevates the chin, you can just pull it across, okay? The tighter they tuck in, the tighter you pull it in, and then the more that you understand the roll 1 mechanism, it's just gonna pop up the chin. So that's what I was saying, it's a universal way of actually using it. So as I'm here, all right, he already has that tucked in, you can't get it in anymore. Just roll 1, roll 2, now I'm underneath the chin. Make sense? So now it's this is something I learned as a freaking brown belt. I wish I would have learned as a white belt. So I walk around and I have my hands on my lapels and I'm always practicing. Everyone thinks I'm kind of walking around like what, Master Ken? Right, so I'm going around here. So if you right here, what I'm doing is, I always keep practicing it, because what I'm doing is actually this. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm creating I call it the magic button. Why did I call it? One of the kids I was showing it to saying, oh, that's a magic button. I'm like, yeah, sure. So you can do it with the outside hand, or you can practice it with the inside hand. So I don't know if y'all remember the Howard combat kimonos. Y'all remember that lapel? Holy crap, dude. That was a tank. So it was basically double the size of this. So you barely even need to tuck your chin in. They could not choke you, even if they had it down underneath. And that's why they made it illegal. It was just like a monster lapel, right? So as you're here, you can bring it across. Now, but no matter what the gi, it's always going to thin out at the bottom. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a razor sharp edge, like a wedge. So what I'm doing from here is I'm feeding it and only grabbing the lapel. So it doesn't matter what choke what you're doing, I'm creating a wedge that's going to get underneath. Does that make sense? So as I'm here, I just roll it back in, and as I pull it in, it's going to wedge itself in. Does that make sense? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Give somebody. There you go. Come on, Louise. All right, start on this end. Right there. Yep. So right here, and this is a nice fat lapel. Okay, this is a goodie. So what I'm doing is I'm using my thumb to feed, and then bring it inside. Don't grab all the action. You don't need all this. You don't. It's going to rip out your hand, and it's going to make it like very difficult to grip. I just want the lapel. So I just pop it with my thumb, and all I'm doing is creating that wedge, and it's going to slip right inside. Make sense? This direction, and go on your side. Yep, that one, either way. Yep, that's fine. All the way inside. There you go. When you actually try to set up for a bow and arrow choke, right, that becomes like a big problem too, right? It goes over the chin. So instead, when you're actually feeding it, watch what I'm doing with my thumb. Does that make sense? So when I go inside, you're not going to have that. You can grab the crap out of that lapel, and you're going to go right underneath, and before you even sit back, because it's sunk in, you get your tap. Okay? So it's just the feed. So what I'm doing is I'm feeding it. See how I'm doing using my thumb? Just a feed. I'm already deep inside. And guess what? Once I'm here, what? Go on. See how it tightens it up? Does it make sense? And so for y'all, same thing. Using the thumb to feed. So what I'm creating is that wedge. So you get underneath. So they can tuck in all they want. Make sense? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Hands up. Go. Perfect. So the most common question was, once you're here, look, now what do I do? You're underneath the chin. I'll just show you your way in. That's it. So now just finish your choke. That make sense? Y'all get wrapped up too much in the entrance and how easy it was. Now you don't think the choke's going to work. It is. I promise. Just finish the choke normally. You know, you push down on that one. However you were taught, I'm just showing you a way in to actually finish it in. So all you're doing is creating like the magic button, right? The wedge to get in through here, right? So now the wedge, you need an entrance in it. So roll one. Now you're going to finish your choke. Does that make sense? Yes. All right. So for the no-gi guys, I didn't forget about you guys. So same thing with the chokes. So again, one of the biggest things is when you're trying to do a rear naked choke, right? Yep. The pull-up bar, the rib out, right? It's going to be one of the hardest ones to do. So go ahead. Pull it. Pop it. It's strength, right? No, stop nodding your head. No, it's not strength.
You've got arms like trees. That's not
I promise you, once I show you the magic trick, you'll be able to do it. So the main thing, what I'm doing is I'm redirecting. Okay. My background is Olympic weightlifting, so everything I did, my cross training with stones, everything else. So when I lifted straight up was one way. When I lifted sideways was an entirely different weight. Okay. Imagine like you're doing a bench press. You have a certain amount on there, right? Like your max. And some smart ass just goes and pushes it sideways. What's going to happen? Well, it's going to collapse, right? His strength is center body. Now he's keeping it center line. He's remarkably strong this way. He's tight end. He can pull down. All I'm doing is I'm extending out. So as he's pulling straight down, he will win this battle every time. So what I'm doing, but relax, I can't move it. So what I'm doing is I'm offsetting it to the side now. So what I do is I do like where I teach the kids butterfly. Yeah, it's weird. Now you guys aren't going to forget though. So I'm interlocking my wrist and I shift off to the side. Where are his arms? Sideways now. And all I'm doing is bringing it back. Now I can lock and get inside. Does that make sense? Yeah. So one more time. Could you show this side, please? Right here, center line. I promise you he will win. Okay, he's going to beat that the entire time. So what I'm doing is I'm interlocking my wrist. Okay, and all I'm doing is shooting off to the side, then pulling it right back up. Now I can bring it back in and lock it down. Right.
Could you show this side, please?
Yes, sir. He's going to pick somebody. And bring his buddy out. So once again, just a traditional one, okay? he pulls down, okay, he will win this battle. But what I'm doing is I'm locking up my wrist. So I'm extending it out and then pulling it back, knocking into my biceps. As a matter of fact, that's going to help because he's making it tighter. So again, this battle will be won by the person who keeps it center line. So I got to take it off center. So as I have this locked in, go ahead and peel it down. Okay, I shoot it off to the side, and then I bring it up to my bicep and bring it back in.
Would that work if you were on your right side and your shoulder was flat against the floor and you couldn't rotate?
Am I able to move my arm sideways?
No,
Yeah. If you were laid on your right side now,
Yes.
you wouldn't be able to
So my question
project
to
your
you,
shoulder.
can I still
Yeah.
redirect?
Yeah, yeah.
Then yes. If you can
Sure.
redirect that way, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. But what do you have to keep in control of? I'm just showing you kind of like, again, the small detail from working from there. I like to teach concept and then take it and play with it and come up with something new and something better. You can show me. And then I'll take that and I'll make it better and I'll show you. Then you do something better. And that's the evolution of the sport that I love about it. Make sense? Any questions on that one? Butterfly time. Hands up. Go. The one thing, as I keep hearing, I'm going to reiterate the exact same thing. Before you guys go in and do like the body cross block, I'm attacking the legs, but you guys keep the mechanics there, what you're first trying to do. Okay? And then start adding more resistance. And I heard that from like everybody, be a good training partner. Right? That's why I started on my knees. All I'm trying to do is show you the mechanics of it and how it works. Right? And then we had some guys that like were throwing in the lapel and he didn't even know what he was doing with his arms yet. Get that down first and then start adding more variables. Okay? But understand the mechanics first, and I promise you those variables get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So the last minute I have, I'm going to give you guys one thing to work on. I always break things down into 3 things. It's easiest to remember. In every class I try to tell my guys, try to walk away with understanding the concept, the familiarization of the position, and the general mechanics, how things work. There's 3 principles to everything. Sweeps, no matter what the sweep is, no matter what it is, you have to remove the post, you have to break the posture, and you have to find a leverage point to take them off balance. Okay? And guess what? Not getting swept. Reverse engineering. Don't let them break the posture. Try to get on the post to keep your balance. And anyone remember the third one? Yep. Avoid trying to get them to find a leverage point. And I'm out of time. Thank you guys very much.